All right, it is 2 minutes to 1. Close enough for government. Good enough for government. Good enough for me. We're going to start this party with a live stream. So it's Friday. It's 1 o'clock. We're going to edit. And I was actually working on some stuff. Hey, Tim! Photographer and a poet, right? I was just going to say something. I forgot what it was, too. Shucks. Oh, I was going to talk about what I was working on before I started streaming. Now, I'm going to switch over to the Teen Titans stuff. But first, I wanted to share the first composite of the year that I decided to work on, which is this. Anytime Fitness is the gym that I go to. And unfortunately, I think in like the fitness industry in general, there's a fair amount of employee churn. You know, people get hired on as trainers in a gym and then they leave fairly quickly after, and it makes it hard to keep staff photos up to date. So what I am doing is working on this idea of a composite. So this is like the base photo. Hey Peter, how's it going, bud? Good to have you here. This is the base photo, which is like going to be the standard group photo of the staff. And this is like the actual photo, right? Like I positioned them all three together and took this photo. But the idea behind this is to allow me to composite in employees as they come and go. And you hate to think about the fact that you're essentially planning for employees to leave and planning the picture around being able to change it fairly easily, but that's just the reality of it. So I'm going to show you what I was working on. I'm not done yet, but this is let me just shut everything off here. So this is the very starting photo, which is again what we had in we were just looking at in Lightroom. Hello, Sandy. How's it going? So this is the original photo, and then I have these individual photos that I took of them. So this one here of Seth, right here. Let's see, this one here of Seth, this one here of Holly, and this one here of Emily. So these are the three individual photos that I shot, and I've been working on compositing them together. So as of right now, I've got the background fixed up so that it's just like the clean background that I'm going to be working with. And this isn't like a pure black. It's actually the backdrop I shot against with my cleanup work done. And then using this as the template, I posed each one of them for their individual photos. And as of right now, I have their individual photos dropped in to the photo, and now what I need to do is add the shadows that would be cast by Emily standing in front of them in order to make it look realistic, because right now it looks fake because there's no shadowing being cast from Emily onto both Seth and Holly in the background there. Now I'm not going to do that here because I'm going to work on the Teen Titans stuff, but that's what I've been working on up until this point before I actually started the live stream. Hello, Crichton, and Sandy's here. Let's see, Todd. Hello, Todd. And Angela. Angela, I want to say real quick, I got your email, but I haven't had a chance to reply. I am going to be sending out your t-shirts today. When I go to pick my wife up from work, I'm going to stop at the post office and put your t-shirt in the post. It'll be coming soon. I apologize for not replying yet. Actually, through YouTube, we can't really see that it's not pure black. Okay, well, that's good to know. The goal was for a black background, right? But what I mean by saying it's not pure black is to say that I didn't replace it with a pure black background. What I did instead is I took the existing background from the shot, and let me actually show you the layers of one at a time. So first of all, I cleaned up these hot spots, which was a little bit of light, because this was a cloth backdrop I took on location. So like I cleaned up this spot here, and then I cleaned up this spot here, plus this edge here, which was catching a little flare. So those are the hot spot cleanups right there. And then this here was cleaning up the edge. And then once I had put all of them in place, I needed to actually take them out because I wanted to maintain this actual background because it will help me blend them into it, because that's the background they were shot against. And so what I did is I just used a big loose selection and ran a content-aware fill that left me with this, which I just did a little bit of extra cleanup work on before I had all of them dropped in on it first. But this is where I'm at, like I was saying. So in theory, what's going to happen is in the future, maybe Seth gets another job, or maybe Holly gets another job, or maybe Emily gets another job, and then I can just drop in whoever, just pose them the exact same way. I just got to shoot one person and put them into the shot. That's the goal. That's the plan. So anyway, let's see. Angela, you said, my dad was a personal trainer, so I know that it is certainly a job that has you changing jobs a lot. He switched to 4 different gyms in a month. Yeah, that makes perfectly sense. Zindine, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but hello. And Chitan, hello. And my wife, hello. Just got a package with 3 books from Kathy Daly to add to the library's collection. That's fantastic. All right, so let's actually get to editing. I already saved this, but I'm going to save it again just to make sure that I don't lose any work that I was working on here, and then get to the Teen Titans stuff that I promised that I was actually going to work on. And while we're waiting, I want to show you something else, which is my 3D print. Now, I know this sort of resembles a turd, but this isn't actually a turd. This is, however, my very first successful 3D print, which I'm pretty excited about. And I'm not sure how well it's showing up on YouTube, running through, all the compression that happens. But this is a 3D model of what's generally referred to as a marker tree. And marker trees are trees that the Native Americans would bend to grow in very unusual shapes that they would essentially use as road signs. And so this tree, the body of the trunk, this tree is an example, this model is an example of one. And what they would do is they would, as the tree is a young sapling, they would bend the trunk and force it down at a 90-degree angle and force it to grow in that direction. So the trunk goes up and turns at 90 degrees. That's not a natural phenomena. And that was a signal to other Native Americans that said something. It might have said, go this way, meaning whichever way the tree is pointing. And then like the other branches that come out are branches that would grow off of that main trunk body. So this is a prototype of a model I'm working on for an exhibit at my museum. So that's this. This is another variation on the print printed using a different printer and a different filament. You can't see the texture on this one nearly as well, but what's also interesting is all of this excess, like all of the gaps that you see here that show you the body and structure, for some reason were filled in by this other printer. And I'm imagining, I think like this stuff is all meant to be broken off, but I haven't actually taken the time to try to break it off. And then these two are the botched up prints that happen when somebody bumped the table and screwed up the print bed, which messes up the alignment of it. So that's my little 3D printing experiment for those of you who are following along with that on Facebook. This isn't the finished product. This is a prototype, as I said, basically to sort of prove, can I do this, first of all, and can I print it, second of all? And that the answers to both of those questions have been yes, which means the next thing I'm going to be doing is actually scaling this out and finishing it, which is going to have more branches coming off of it to make it look more like a tree, shape this better, and apply the texture better. And it's going to be bigger. The final tree that I actually print is probably going to be a good 2 or 3 feet tall to be in the display case that we're going to be displaying it in. So that's the stuff I've been working on. A space slug, right. 3D printing is totally awesome. Can you swap screens so we can see them? Oh, yeah, I can do that, actually. Give me just a half a second here so that you can see it bigger and better. Let me add that. I got to do a little fixer up in here. Crop this here and that there. And give me just 2 seconds. This here. Ooh, I almost forgot to do something. I'm glad that I just noticed that. Alrighty, and then scale it up and switch it over. Alrighty. Lightroom's doing this crazy thing to me again. I really hate it when it does that. Okay, so let me close this. I gotta fix my Lightroom because it's acting funny on me again. And bring it back over here where it belongs. And it shouldn't be on mute. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? I've got the sound on. Oh, I know which one it was. Okay, we're back. We should have main audio. Yeah, I just added it. Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. All right. Okay. I know what happened because I quickly added that second angle, and when I did that, I forgot to set the audio to it. So my apologies for that, guys. Okay, Lightroom's acting funny on me. I gotta fix that. I don't know why it keeps doing this, but it keeps giving me this second screen, and I don't want it. So grid. Skip this time, and I'm going to restart Lightroom so that I can actually get to editing. While I'm waiting for that, what are you guys doing this weekend? My wife and I are going to her holiday party for her work tonight, and then tomorrow we're going up north to Eagle River to visit her father, which will be... Come on, Lightroom. What in the fudge is going on here? I just want you to act normal, and you refuse to do so. Hold on, guys. I gotta figure out what the heck is going on with my stupid Lightroom. I don't know why it's doing this. Screen mode, normal. There. Thank you for stopping and not acting like a stupid program anymore. Okay, I got it fixed. I had to go into window and then set my screen mode. I had no idea how it got set to full screen. But let's switch libraries and let's get to work here. All right, let's get back to that. I'm going to skip the backup this time because I don't need to do it right now. When you switch to full screen, it closed up the sound. And it keeps switching screens on me, which is also really obnoxious. This is a Mac thing. I don't understand why the Mac doesn't understand that this is my main screen and that this over here is my secondary screen. It keeps putting Lightroom over there, which is really annoying. Let's do this. Okay, we're going to start with this one. Lightroom editing is already done on this. Let's just make sure. I'm going to hit D for Develop Module to double check. And sure enough, so let's open this bad boy photo up in Photoshop and do some work here. Tim says I'm going to work on the lighting structure for my fish tank. The hood. Okay, very cool. Peter says, got a world record attempt in Ingress tonight, an operation covering 7 nations and a couple hundred agents. Wow, that's pretty cool. I've never played Ingress, but I've heard of it. And isn't that the same... Didn't Niantic make Ingress as well as Pokemon Go? Is that the same company, Peter? Is that what I'm thinking? If so, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, either way, it sounds cool. Let's see, not the weekend, but Monday I'm going to the museum and I'll be seeing if I can get good pictures without glass glare. That's always tough. You're going to have to manipulate your angles of the camera in order to avoid that glare. Be heading downtown in a bit. This weekend I'm taking an old 35mm film camera and going out to see what I can see. Very cool, Crichton. I need to shoot more film. It's something that I have not done in quite a while. All right, let's do some edits. So this should not take a super long time to edit now that I'm not dealing with the all of the feathers, the dodge and burn will go so much quicker here than it was going before. So right now I'm just doing like the very quick, super easy cleanup stuff. Like right here on the shirt, I didn't notice this before, but there's a little bit of makeup here from her. I gotta switch this to sample all layers and fix up that little bit of coloring there. I'm not gonna mess with the cat. That's fine. Go back to the clone stamp tool and fix up her shirt cuff here too. So tonight is my wife's holiday party. I'm gonna actually be taking this mic that I run my shows with to the party because somebody else is bringing a karaoke machine. So we're probably going to be pulling off some karaoke, which should be fun. Any of you guys karaoke? If you do, what are your favorite songs to karaoke? My favorite song to karaoke is Ice Ice Baby. Vanilla Ice's Ice Ice Baby. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. But I can rock that song in karaoke. That'll be fun. And what's really cool, too, is it's at a bar right... Whoa, that was ugly. It's at a bar right next door to our house, essentially, so we don't have to travel very far. And that's always a nice thing when you're having a party. Not that I plan to get obliterated or anything like that, but it's just nice to not have to drive very far and worry about a long drive home either. And then Saturday, we are heading up to Eagle River, Wisconsin, which is where my wife's dad lives. And up there, we're going to visit him. He just had hip surgery. So we're going to go see him, say hi, and I'm going to be playing tech support because I had set him up with a smartphone, a while back on Ting, and I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Ting, but it's a wireless carrier, prepaid plans, really cheap. You literally only pay for what you use, which for him was perfect because he doesn't, have a lot of demands out of a phone, so he doesn't need a lot of data and he doesn't need a ton of minutes, but he needed a phone that was simple and easy to use and that he could, afford essentially. And so I had set him up with a Ting account and an Android smartphone, an old LG Optimus, I think it was called, which was an okay phone, but that thing is like on its last legs. And so I set him up still on Ting, but I set up my old iPhone SE, because I switched carriers, so I switched to a carrier iPhone to get a deal that they had going on. And I've got to do a little bit of fixing up on his phone because there was a problem with it, and I can't do any fixing on the particular problem that he's having. I can't fix remotely. So it's a visit to see how he's doing, and also just to fix up his phone a little bit, and to visit our goddaughter Audrey as well. She is like 4 or 5 months old now. She's getting big fast. She's super cute. In fact, let me show you guys a picture of Audrey. Let's see here. Let me get into Lightroom and get into the grid. And Audrey, where is she? This is 2016. Here we go. Audrey baptism. So here's Amber, and this is my wife's best friend from high school, and this is Audrey, her daughter, and this is a shot I grabbed at her baptism. So Audrey's super cute. She's an adorable little girl. Here's a cute little picture of her. She's all wide-eyed. So this is our goddaughter. But let's get back to the edit. Okay. Yeah, it's the precursor to Pokemon Go. That's what I thought. That's what I thought Ingress was. Very similar idea, but I didn't want to make that assumption. They use the same GPS databases. Tim, you can picture me singing it. That's funny. Ooh, Bohemian Rhapsody. That's a good one, Angela. That's a really good one. Peter says only when I'm quite drunk, and then it's usually pour some sugar on me. That's also a very good one. Hello, Carlos. Tim, is your dad getting both hips? My wife's father, I think he got both hips done at the same time. which that's an even bigger deal than just one hip, just because it kind of really knocks you out. But he's already been up and walking around, which is really cool. All right, I don't see anything else I need to clean up here, so we can move right on to skin softening. Yeah. Wowza, but there's a lot of woods up that a ways. Last of the Mohawks set big time. Yeah, she is a cute kid. Yeah, there's a lot of woods up here where I live, Vincent, if that's what you're referring to. Up in I mean, they call this the North Woods, the North Woods in general, and the North Woods of Wisconsin more specifically. A lot of that land used to be owned by paper companies, and they farmed timber on all of that land. But because of the change in the paper industry, not just in Wisconsin but nationwide, a lot of that land now has gone up for sale and is transferred back into private ownership. So you got a lot of people who are buying up big, huge pieces of timberland that used to be mill-owned timber land, and now making it hunting ground or building cabins on it and things of that nature. Lots and lots of woods. But because it was farmed timberland, one of the, I don't know if sad is the right word for it, but one of the things you'll notice about it is that it's basically all jack pine, which is, jack pine or aspen, which is what they would use for their paper making. Dodge and burn. See, this is going so much faster, which I love, 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 love being able to actually get them done in a fairly quick fashion. All right. And then Sunday, we're going over to my stepfather-in-law's Joe's house. And we've also got something else we're doing on Sunday. What are we doing on Sunday? I don't remember. There's something else, though, that we're going to be working on Sunday or doing. I know I've got to work on some videos. I've got a couple of video projects that I'm super excited about finishing up, one of which is the EM1 Mark II review. That camera, I'm really quite impressed by it. It's really a really fantastic camera. I've been catching a fair amount of flack on the first impressions video I did. I don't know how many of you guys watched that video on YouTube, the one where I shot it out with the D750 with my friend Andrew. But there are people on there who are saying I'm biased and telling me that I shouldn't be reviewing or I shouldn't be comparing the D750. I've had like 5 or 6 people comment and say it's an apples and oranges comparison to compare the D750 to the EM1 Mark II, and what they don't realize, even though I tried to make that clear in the video, is that was the point of that comparison. The whole point was to compare two cameras that cost close to the same price but have vastly different sort of constructions and capabilities, to show why, you could justify paying $2,000 for a Micro Four Thirds censored camera, which some people think is just crazy. So I've been finding that pretty interesting, catching up on the comments on that, and I've been engaging with those people and explaining, like, this is why we made this comparison. It's not about trying to say that, like, the EM1 Mark II is better than, the D750 or something like that, but to highlight that, different cameras are sort of built for different functions and purposes, and that purpose and the capabilities around that are part of what determine the price. So that's something I'll be addressing further when I do that EM1 Mark II review video. I've got all of the shooting done that I need to do around testing. I've tested there's a couple of things yet that I still need to test, actually, now that I think about it. But that's all stuff I can do, like, in-house, so to speak, in studio. I don't need to get out to shoot this stuff, but I'm planning to have that video up somewhere around the end, like in the next week or two. But I've also got some other videos that I'm working on that I got to get finished first. So That's what's been occupying me when I'm not streaming and I'm not editing and I'm not working at the museum. Messed up on the time. Tim, I did watch your first impressions vid. I thought it was pretty clear that you were not truly comparing them. Yeah, exactly. Interwebs folks will jump to their own conclusions, which is fine. And I'm certainly not bothered by people, leaving their comments and misinterpreting it. That's just part of what happens, and it just gives me an opportunity to chat with them in the comments. So I just find it amusing, that what happens is somebody will see something and they immediately form an opinion of what it's about, and regardless of the actual content of the thing, they'll leave a comment to the effect of whatever their opinion is based on this thing, regardless of what it actually is. But that's the interwebs for you, right? Yeah, that looks good. That looks real nice. Really nice. Okay. Kim, is there something... I think my wife is still watching. Is there something else that we were doing this Sunday? I can't remember. My wife and I did just book a little bit of a mini vacation for February. We're going to go to La Crosse, which is about 2 hours from where we live. We live in Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin, and La Crosse is about 2 hours west, literally right on the border of Minnesota and Wisconsin. And there's a bunch of wineries out there, and we're going to go out there and visit a couple of those wineries. There's a few that we really enjoy going to, and the newest thing that my wife and I have been really enjoying doing is escape rooms. Have any of you guys ever done an escape room? It's where they create a scenario and they lock you into a room, and then you have to try to escape by essentially solving the puzzles, looking at the clues that are in the room, and gathering clues to figure out how to open locks. And the locks give you more clues, which lead to eventually a code or a combination that unlocks the room so that you can get out. And they're pretty fun. And my wife and I have done 2 of them now. We did one with a group of friends, and then we did one on our own. And we're doing another one with a group of friends next Friday. And then we're doing another one on our own when we go to La Crosse. We're going to go to the La Crosse escape room and do that. And it's really fun. It's a little bit stressful just because you're locked in, and you have a time limit. So usually it's like an hour to unlock, to get yourself out. And if you don't get out, you just don't get out. There's one more spot here I want to hit up a little bit. But it's fun because it challenges you and it forces you to look at different things and solve puzzles, and it's kind of like a real life video game, you know what I mean, in a sense. Because you're in the actual place and you have to physically go through the room and find the clues and figure out what they mean, and then proceed through the next clue and the next clue until you finally either get out or run out of time. Okay, that looks good, and that looks good as well. All right. So now I'm very quickly just going to hit up a little bit of the clothing with this dodge and burn. And this won't take very long at all. I love fast dodge and burn jobs. So much easier. So, yeah, we're going to do an escape room next Friday. We're going to do escape room in February. We're not going to do the escape room drunk. That's not going to happen, even though we are going to be visiting some wineries in the La Crosse area, because that's always fun. We enjoy a nice bottle of wine. Which reminds me, and I know my wife has already been sort of pestering me about it, but I've got to rack some wine. We've got some wine that's through its primary fermentation period, and I haven't had a chance to rack it over into a secondary fermenter. I don't think we're doing anything else besides going to Joe's on Sunday. Okay. I really need to see if the monitor I was given this week works, and if I've got ports for it, then I can chat, watch the video, and work at the same time. Nice. My son has wanted to go in an escape room for a while now. You should try it, Tim. It's super fun. It really is super fun. Sandy, some of them are set up like horror movie scenes, but they're not. Like, one was a crazy cat lady room. That was the one that we did on our own. We didn't get out, by the way. And then another one was like a Paris murder scene. So, they have different themes to the different rooms. There's a spot on her hair just above the left part of her hair. Are you talking about Raven, the purple? I think I see what you're talking about. This spot right here, probably. Let's just clean that up real super fast. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. Yep, that looks good. All right, so that's the dodge and burn. And now let's get the eyes taken care of and sharpen things up. Her left, our right. Okay, so that's a different spot that I think you were talking about. Her left, our right. All right. I think I missed the spot that you're talking about. So I will have to go back and fix that, but let me do the sharpening up first here. Raven, yes, no more down towards her temple. Are you talking like this spot right here? This spot right here, I think is what you're probably talking about. If not, correct me, but I'll probably hit that spot too real fast. Brighten, brighten, brighten. I'm going to do up the eyes and everything first, though, since I'm already here and I've already got these layers in place. I love the green contact she's wearing here. Okay. Now the other thing I'm going to be doing is modifying my studio space a little bit. Not this space that I'm sitting in right now, but where I sit down to record my videos right over there, where I have, the blue, where the blue wall is and everything else. I'm going to be changing the lighting up in there a little bit because what I've got right now are lights that I made, and they work great, which is they're Chinese lanterns with a bunch of video. They're just big compact fluorescent lights in there, and there's actually 4 lights per lamp to light up my videos, and it works really well. The only problem is it's so small up here. There's just so little room that it's really hard for me to move around in there when I'm recording and I have to get up and sit back down again to start or stop the recorder, to adjust something on my teleprompter, or whatever the case might be. So I got these LED lights. Now, these are actually different lights from the lights that I was testing during the last photo blab, and they're more powerful. And I'm going to mount them to the ceiling in my studio space over there. And I've already tested this, and it doesn't look all dramatic like it did when I was doing the photo blab with that lighting. And that should make it much easier for me to move around in there, because these are so tiny compared to the other thing. But it doesn't make the lighting super hard, which I also like. I mean, I like hard lighting, don't get me wrong, but for the video, I don't think it works out so great. So that's something that I need to do sooner rather than later, but it's cold as heck out, and I haven't had a chance to actually get out and work in the garage to... Number one, I got to clean up the garage because it's not a disaster out there, but it is kind of a mess. I'm going to use the purple of her hair, and I'm going to make it a little bit brighter, like that. I think I like. And I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. So I just need to make the mounts for the ceiling, which won't be difficult to make. It's just a matter of there, that looks good. It's just a matter of I'm going to take a board, and I'm going to put a 1/4-20 bolt through the board so that I can mount, because this has got a 1/4-20 mount on the bottom. But I'm actually not going to screw mount it. I'm going to put a hot shoe on there so that it's easy for me to take these in and out if I want to. Although I could just screw it into the 1/4-20. I like the hot shoe better, just because the hot shoe makes it easy to mount and dismount these from the ceiling if I want to. Um, the one we were doing in February is a sports theme. Yeah. Once notices bothers people not. I know what you mean, Peter. Like when you see something in a photo, then it bothers you, and then you got to do something about it. I totally get that. Like that's what I'm looking for when I'm editing my photos. So I'm not sure if I got the spot you were talking about, but either way, I'm happy with this, so I'm letting it be as is. So that one's done. And let me get back to the Super Casey folder so that I can mark this as done. And I'm going to export this right away because I don't want to forget which ones I did and which ones I didn't export. Okay, I got it. Oh, eye brightening. That's something you can see a lot of people doing horribly. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. When I brighten, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again because it's worth repeating. What I do is not to whiten the eyes, and I definitely don't over brighten the eyes. All I do is I brighten the whites of the eyes and the pupils a little bit. I don't alter the color of them at all. I just brighten it up a little bit, and then the darks, the pupils and the ring around the pupil, I just darken a little bit, and that's all I do. And I just do it with a curves layer and a layer mask, with very slight bumps up in the brightness and down in darkness for each one of those layers. Because you're right, if you do it wrong, then the eyes look horrible and alien and creepy, and they just stand out, and it just looks awful. And you just don't want that. So you got to be careful when you're messing with the eyes. Same with the teeth. Like, if you want to whiten teeth, some people want that, some people specifically ask for teeth whitening. And if that's something that you need to do for a client, that's fine. But I really highly recommend that you don't whiten teeth. Maybe brighten them, but maybe desaturate the teeth a little bit. But whitening them, I think, is a mistake. Because it's going to look fake and unnatural again. All right. Whoops, that's the wrong button again. Okay, let's do a little retouch here. You should start messing with the lighting in your videos to see who notices. You can have some really dark mood lighting for a serious video. I should. I've thought about that, but my goal is just... And it's worked out really well. Like, that's literally a studio I can pretty much walk into, turn everything on, sit down, and hit record. I've got to do a little bit of setup. Like, I got to set up the iPad, which is what I use for my teleprompter. And I got to, plug things in and whatnot. But it's basically all set, never changes. So I can walk in, and within, like, a couple of minutes, I can be recording a video. I try to put as little friction in between I've got a script done, and I'm ready to record a video, and being able to sit down and actually record that video. And that's the goal of that room over there. This is like always ready to go. All right, so the first thing I know we're going to do is get rid of this sprinkler on the ceiling, because that's just ugly. So I'm going to use the patch tool for that. And we'll just bloop, do this. Sample all layers is selected. We'll drag it right about there, I think will work. And boom, fixed. Love that. All right, there's a couple other spots on the ceiling I want to take care of now that I'm looking and I'm seeing. Couldn't use the stop it. I actually just want to use the healing brush tool here. Since it's a ceiling, it's not a huge problem. And I don't need to worry about it being like super perfect or anything. There's another spot. This still needs a little bit of... That's a little bit better. There was a little bit of a poor blend there because of the patch tool. All right, so let's fix up her shirt again. Get that stain out of there. On the top of being bothered by or noticing things, I read an interesting article about Ansel Adams the other day. Yeah, definitely no Ansel. A modern-day photographer started analyzing his photos in regard to the different golden rules. It seems Ansel followed both the ratio and spiral quite a bit, probably without thinking about it. But now that I've started thinking about it, I see those rules everywhere. Yeah, those rules are really, really, really prominent. And I think it does get to a point where people are doing it unconsciously, and it just becomes something that's incorporated into their composition toolbox, essentially. And that's not a bad thing, but it's like anything else. Once you know it's there, you just notice where it is all of the time, and you start to see it everywhere. And that's not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination. But it's definitely something that's interesting to notice when you do actually notice it happening. There we go. I think there's nothing worse than when your computer makes like boops or whatever noises to tell you that you can't do what you're trying to do. And I know that's to let you know that there's something wrong, but it's still like sometimes it makes me want to punch my computer. How do you guys feel about that? And it's any computer system. It's not, just Windows or just Mac. I don't know how you guys feel about computer systems. I use Mac, but I'm not a person who, is like, oh my God, Windows sucks and Mac is the best in the world and blah, 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 blah. I just use the tools that best suit me. And in terms of a computing platform, that happens to be Mac. I've been on this platform for 5 or 6 years now, and man, has it enabled me to work in a way that I was really never able to work when I was using Windows computers. So yeah, I'm going to put those lights up in that studio. I'm just bouncing around, guys, from subject to subject, which is, whatever. I'm going to put those lights up in that studio, and that's going to make it easier for me to get in and out of that studio and to, just to get things started when I need to start and record. I also changed how I mount my teleprompter. Let me show you guys something. So I used to use one of these, which is, a traditional sort of teleprompter setup where you have you might not be able to see my face right now through here. You have you can. The one-way mirror, essentially, this glass, and this mount was for the iPad right here. And then this hooked up to the tripod here, and the camera sits on here. And then you drape this over the camera, and the iPad would reflect up into the glass, and then the lens would be right behind here, and it'd be like a perfect teleprompter. But this thing's big and bulky and kind of a pain in the butt to use. So what I ended up doing was creating a mount that hangs the iPad from my ceiling right above the lens of my camera. So when I'm recording a video, I'm actually looking ever so slightly up, but the teleprompter's right there, and because I'm back far enough from the camera, the parallax makes it look like I'm looking right into the camera, which is what I want. And that's made getting started even quicker and easier because I don't have to fart around with like this and securing the hood and moving stuff out of the way so I can check the camera settings and all that kind of stuff. So now it's just a mount that hangs from my ceiling. You probably can't see, you can't see it over there, but I'll take a picture sometime or do like an Instagram story to show that to you guys. I think I'm done with the retouching here. Tim, let's see. That makes sense to make things just flow. I do that with all my fish tank stuff. Make it as easy as possible so that I can just enjoy it. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, put the link in the group, Peter. I'll check that out. 2/3 rules using aquascaping. Cool. Yeah, that's crazy. But it makes sense. I mean, it's everywhere. Can you maybe voice when you change tools? I can try. I might forget, but I can try to voice when I change tools, Todd. I'll try to remember to do that. So right now I'm using the clone stamp tool. I am going to clean this little bit up right here. And I bounce around like this is the healing brush tool now. Ooh, that was a bad choice. So back to the stamp tool. There we go. And at this point, I'm going to switch over and we're going to do a skin softening layer. So when I do that, I'm going to switch to the brush tool because I'm using a layer mask for the skin softening and to mask what's being applied as a whole, which, there we go. So now I'm at the brush tool, and we're just going to brush on the skin to soften it all up nice. Not too much. You want to maintain texture and reality, but just to kind of even everything out and give it a little bit of softness that it wouldn't have otherwise. Yeah, the 2/3, the golden ratio, those things are really everywhere when you look and start to notice them. And it's both cool, but sometimes a little annoying, because it's like once you see something, you can't unsee it. And that's the same thing with like these compositional rules. It's like with printing. I used to work in a printing factory, okay? And if you're not familiar with how printing works, what happens on a printing press is you actually have different units on the printing press that lay down the colors in a sequence. So you start with like black, and then it goes yellow, red, blue, black, if I recall the order correctly. And what that does, each ink lays down onto the paper separately. And so you have to line up the ink laydown so that when you have the final print on the paper, everything is what's called registered, meaning that it all lines up perfectly. And if you ever look at newspapers, they don't bother to really spend any time at all registering newspapers. They just essentially start the press and start keeping the prints immediately. And so when I started working at the printing factory and learned about registering, I very immediately noticed in the newspaper that it's never ever registered. And I started noticing it in magazines and all over the place. And even today, when I'm looking at something that's printed, some sort of printed matter, like a magazine or a newspaper or something along those lines, I cannot help but notice the registering and how good or bad it is in terms of, you know, the print quality and the print house that actually ran the job. And sometimes that's frustrating because I just want to enjoy you know, whatever it is that I'm trying to read, and I can't because my eyes are drawn to the printing errors that happened on the job. But I tell you what, I really enjoyed printing. It's a really it's messy work, but it's also really fun work in a way. And I really enjoyed it, and I probably would have stayed in that job, but for the fact that, you know, being a factory job, you know how those jobs can get. All of a sudden you got to work every weekend, and you don't get, you know, time off to spend with your family. And I also work third shift, and I'm sure some of you have worked third shift in the past, and you know that that's a really tough shift to work. Although I'll take third shift over second shift any day. By the way, I'm using the dodge and burn tool right now. I forgot to mention that, Todd. And I'm actually just selected on the dodge tool, but when I hold down the alt key on the keyboard, it switches to the burn tool. So dodge lightens and burn darkens, and I just use the alt key to switch between the lighten and the darken functions. So I'm actually pretty continuously switching tools right now to lighten the light areas and darken the dark areas, but I'm not actually having to physically switch the tool that I'm using, or digitally, as it were. I'm just doing it through this alt function. And you can see up in my history too. If you look up at the history panel up here, you can see the tool and how often I'm switching. Like here, you can see dodge tool, burn tool, dodge, burn, dodge, burn. It just keeps alternating back and forth. So all of these, you know, all of this history here is just the dodge and burn that I've been doing. But that'll show you the tool that I'm actively using when I'm doing a particular thing. Clone stamp, you know, etc., etc. So if you want a clue as to what I'm doing, check the history panel and look over here to see what tool is highlighted. I'll try to remember to mention which tool I'm using, but I guarantee you I will forget at times, and so I'm just going to apologize for that in advance. All right, that looks good. You know what? I think I might need to rotate this when I take it back into Lightroom, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. Yeah, and all of them full with data. Wow. I didn't even think about it. I go by what I like. Yeah, you just got to go by what you like. All right. Let's do the hair. And I'm deliberately trying to force myself to not zoom in too close to the hair so I don't get too lost in the hair dodge and burn like I was tending to do in the past. So that is helping to speed up this editing process in general. I gotta take a drink. This afternoon, I'm also pretty excited because I'm gonna hook up with and chat with a friend. Hook up, I mean, FaceTime with a friend that I haven't talked to for probably a good year or two. Guys, my buddy's name is Tim, and I know you're here, Tim, but it's a different Tim. And he and his wife Annette moved out to California a year-ish ago, something along those lines. They used to live out in Virginia, but anyway, I haven't talked to him in quite a while, and we used to get together and chat once a week or so, and both of us have missed those chats, so we're gonna try to pick that up again, and I'm excited to just talk to him and be able to catch up with my friend, and to also have somebody to chit chat about some of the business stuff that I've been doing, and you know, life in general. Although you guys get to hear all my life in general musings as well, so don't feel left out, because you guys get to hear all my musings on the vagaries of life. All right, how does that look? Yeah, I love that. I love that. God, I tell you, I know I tell you guys every time, but I just love that sheen, that shine, that look you get with a good dodge and burn. Absolutely love it. So there's a little bit of hair down here, so I'm gonna hit this up. I could, in theory, clone this out, but with those blinds behind, I'm not gonna do it. Plus, I mean, that's just Starfire. She's got long hair, so I'm gonna leave that anyway. You got to pick your battles when it comes to like what are you going to clone and what are you not going to clone, and that's definitely something I'm not going to waste time cloning. I don't need to try to keep those blinds intact. Love that shine on the hair. I love the way hair highlights. Have you guys ever noticed that? I mean, hair really is a beautiful thing in terms of the way it catches light and bounces and shines it and reflects it. It's really beautiful. I think it's one of the things I love, and I think it's part of the reason I love doing photo shoots with big hair. And it makes it harder for me to edit because I'm giving myself more hair, more volume, and that's more dodge and burn, but it just looks so good. You know what I mean? I really love that look. It's part of why I love doing what I do. This is looking good. I'm getting a little detailed here, but I'm still deliberately staying back so I don't get sucked into like every strand kind of dodge and burn here. All right, let's see what this looks like. Yeah, see, it just really brings it out. And I'm going to clean up. Now that you talk about spots, Peter, now I can't not see them. So now I'm using the stamp tool again. And I'm just going to clean up these little spots here. There we go. Looks good, looks good, looks good. Okay. Woohoo! Please don't apologize. It's just handy and I can't make out any of the text on your toolbars. Okay, that's cool. I totally understand, Todd, and I'll endeavor to do so. All right, so now I'm setting up my sharpening layers and my eye brightening and darkening. Okay, Peter, enjoy. Let me know how it goes with your record holding efforts. I think that's pretty cool, and that's awesome. Let me know how it goes. As always, thanks for hanging out. It's close to 2 o'clock already, guys. Can't believe how fast this is going. It always goes so fast when I'm editing and talking to you guys, which is awesome. Not a complaint. Oh, and I need to ask you guys for some crafting advice, okay? Because I need to start thinking about and getting ready for the live paint with Otto and Angela. And while they're painting, I'm going to be building the set piece, which is going to be a whole crap load of circuit boards attached to pegboard. And I need to figure out the easiest way to attach the circuit boards to the pegboard. And I was talking with my wife, and I was thinking hot glue might be the easiest way to do it, but I wanted to hear what you guys thought. I don't think it's going to be practical for me to try to use like screws to drill and hold the circuit boards down, just because I'd have to like either drill pilot holes in all of the circuit boards, and or you know, it may or may not always line up with holes in the pegboard, which would cause problems. So I don't think screws are going to be the way to go, which is why I was thinking about hot glue. But I'd like to know what you guys think. And again, this is for attaching circuit boards to, whoops, that's darkened. I want to do the pupils then. For attaching circuit boards to pegboard. And the reason I'm using pegboard is because the circuit boards aren't going to line up and make like a perfectly seamless wall. There's going to be gaps. And I'm going to exploit those gaps with the lighting for the photo shoot. So I am going to lay the circuit boards out to make it look like a seamless wall, but I'm going to use the gaps that will naturally be there to allow backlight to shine through, which I think is going to create a really, really cool looking lighting effect in the set with Angela. And I'm super excited to do that. But before I run out and buy a hot glue gun and a whole crap load of hot glue, I thought I'd ask you guys if you could think of a better, easier, faster way for me to attach the circuit boards than to use the hot glue. All right, this is good. And let's get this watermark on there. Okay, so now I'm on the brush tool, and I'm going to select my watermark. And here we go, and save. Circuit boards, hot glue. Is that what you're thinking? While you're doing the dodge and burn, I don't really see it, but why, when you tab between start and finish, very apparent. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you're not going to see it as it's happening typically, but it's the on-off of the final product where you can actually see, oh yeah, that actually makes a pretty substantial difference to it. And when I'm editing, like when I'm doing the dodge and burn, I can sort of see it in the particular spot where I'm brushing it. But I'm sure because of internet YouTube compression, that gets lost, you know, through the interwebs, as it were. See, I thought about zip ties, but then the zip ties will show because I'll have to somehow wrap it around the circuit board, and I don't want the holding apparatus to show up in the photos, because then I'd have to spend time cloning all that out of the background, which I don't really want to have to do. So zip ties, I think somebody else, I don't know if Kim had brought that up or maybe it was just something I was thinking about, but I don't think zip ties is going to be the solution that I want to use. There we go. There. That feels straighter and better. And now okay. I just realized something, guys. All right, so here's what's going to happen here. I screwed up and did I close this? I did close it. Okay, I'm going to reopen this, edit original. I'm going to get rid of my watermark because I cropped it out because I wasn't thinking about it. So I'm going to open it, take out my watermark, save it, and then do the crop. And then I'm going to have to reopen it and apply the watermark to the new one. Unless I can just, here's what I'm going to do. Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's do a new watermark layer. And let me go back here and edit. And I'm just going to redo this crop so that I know where I need to place the watermark on the layer. So it's basically right above where it already exists on it. Okay, so I can hit escape and hit escape again and hit edit, undo crop angle. Now I'm going to go back here, and if I put it here originally, all right, let's see, open. I put that back. I'm going to create a new watermark layer, and then I'm going to put the new watermark right above it, like so, and then throw out the old layer. That way I don't have to over duplicate my image files in order to do this crop and rotate that I want to do. I could do it in here, but it's easier to do for me in Lightroom because you can see it as I arrow it. I can kind of look at it and just move it until it feels straight and feels like, okay, that's where I want it, and then let it be. So that's why I kind of did this slightly convoluted way of applying the watermark to get to this point. Yeah, zip ties will show. Duct tape, right? Candy, that's awesome. I have not purchased the pegboard yet, Vincent. So if you've got a different idea, I'm certainly open to hearing it. But pegboard will give me the porousness in the background that I'm looking for to allow me to achieve the lighting effect that I'm hoping to achieve with it. Look at that. My watermark's a little crooked there, but I don't care. I'm just going to let it be. That's cool. Otherwise, I'm just going to overcomplicate things, and I don't need to overcomplicate things. So let's export that bad boy. Candy's been sharing with me the photos at the Train Museum, and they have been really cool, which is really awesome. See, my wife mentioned double-sided tape as well, and I just don't think that would be sufficient to hold it. Plus, I think that would be pretty expensive. That'd be a lot of double-sided tape because I'm looking at like a 6-foot by 8-foot wall, essentially, that I'm going to be covering up with circuit boards. And the reason it's so big is it's not just going to be a flat wall, but rather I'm going to have like a 4-foot section. I'm gonna make a corner essentially because there's a particular shot that I want to get where a corner is going to be particularly needed for the pose and everything else. So that's part of the issue as well. Well, see, so this is like a whole mess of different kinds of circuit boards. So some of them probably have holes, but some of them probably don't have holes in them. It's going to depend on the circuit board, to be honest. So there's not a consistency to the boards that I'm working with. All right, last one of this particular set. There's still more photos in this set that I need to order as edit as a whole. So but these will go even faster. I've got these are like the at the arcade photos. Here we were trying to get this photo of them. This is Beast Boy and Raven, and there's this kiss that they do. But man, we struggled with getting her hair to lay in a way that worked out for us. Okay, so now here I'm going to not save this. I'm going back and I'm going to rotate first, because I'm noticing the rotation is an issue here, I think. But I'm afraid of how much it's going to cut off in her arm, so I might actually just leave this one off. I haven't decided yet. No, I'm okay with that. You can still see her thumb, so that's fine. So we'll go with that. Okay. Blue tack on a mesh. Wire or plastic mesh. If you did it flat and then stood it up, silicone caulk. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks, Tim. That's one of my favorites from this shoot was that one you're describing. What is blue tack? Let's look that up. Where's my app switcher? All right, I'm gonna look up blue tack real quick. Blue tack. Enjoy lunch, hon. Blue tack reusable adhesive. Oh, that's like blue tack is like poster stick. That's what that is. Blue tack is poster stick, essentially. That's what you're talking about, Vincent. That's not a bad idea. I like the idea of silicone caulking. Because, yeah, I think that might work. The only issue with the silicone, though, is I need something that's fast drying, because I'm going to build it day of. I mean, if I use silicone, I'd have to build it. I'd have to attach all the circuit boards earlier, but I was planning on attaching all of the circuit boards while Otto is painting Angela up. So that's I should have clarified that. It needs to be something that fast dries. So I don't think silicone would work for that purpose. In any other situation, though, Tim, I think you're right. I think silicone actually would work really well. All right, so I'm using the healing brush tool now and just doing a little bit of touch up here and getting the little teeny tiny spots. So I'm leaning towards, I like the idea of having it laid down and attaching them with it laid down, because that'll allow it to dry more securely, rather than having the whole thing stood up and then attaching them and like holding them up against it while it dries. So I think that's what I'll do. And I'm going to have to incorporate that into my build design and plan, which I haven't fully done yet anyway. So I've got the basic idea of what I want to do in head, but I haven't implemented anything yet. All right. One little teeny tiny spot right here. I thought for sure that was a spot on my screen, but it actually was a spot on her nose. And this little bit right here. Okay. Skin softening. Yeah, I'm not sure if blue tack would hold it up. If you don't want to reuse either, get a can of contact cement. Dab on the circuit board and the dab on the pegboard, and you should be good to go. That's not a bad idea either. I didn't think about contact cement. That might work better than the hot glue. I'm gonna look into that. I gotta write these ideas down. So we're talking. I'm gonna evaluate them all. Blue tack, caulk, contact cement, and hot glue are the contenders. Awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate your help. Looking up no more nails for you. Pretty sure they do a quick no more nails. No more nails. Okay. No more nails. I'll check that out too. Okay. Brush tool for skin softening. All right. And I am going to have to wrap this one up at 2:30 today, guys, so that I can get ready for the call with my buddy. I've got a few things that I need to finish up before that. And I'm going to apologize a little bit too, because I had actually wanted to do that composite work that I was doing with the Anytime Fitness photo on the stream with you guys. But I forgot when I was setting up the stream last week that I was going to do it. And I also wanted to get some work done this morning. And so I just ended up grabbing that and editing that before realizing I should have saved it for the stream. But like I said in the blab when we've been talking about goals, one of my goals is to do more composite work and get better at that particular type of work in Photoshop. And so I promise you that there will be many more composites that I'll be doing on the live edits in the future, and you guys can laugh at how terrible my composites are, because they're going to be terrible. I'm promising you that, because I'm going to try things that I don't know how to do on purpose so that I can figure out how to do them, and you guys will get to see me figure that all out. All right, dodge and burn time. So again, dodge and burn tool, using the Alt key to switch back and forth in between the two different tools automatically. Like her eyeshadow right here, and beautiful highlight on the cheek there, or contour rather. Yeah, it's interesting watching the dodge and burn happen in front of me. Even though like I can see in certain spots, yeah, I just hit that and I can see the brightening or darkening happening. I still don't like really see it all until I toggle the layer on and off and look at the two, look at it before and look at it after. All right. So hers looks really nice. Love how it brings out the contours. I don't think contact cement cures fast enough, but maybe epoxy. That stuff is 5 minutes if you want it. Okay. Hey Josh, how's it going? No, I'll be going for another 20 minutes or so. Contact cement, what did you see? Epoxy. Yeah, I'll evaluate all these different options. We are just in the middle of the edit and having a good old time here. How have you been, Josh? Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention, Josh, you left a comment on this, and I appreciate that comment. Did you guys see that I'm just about to hit 50,000 subscribers? In fact, let's take a look at where I'm at right now. Let's see here. Command tab. YouTube. I don't think I'll be able to see it. I'm just going to go to my dashboard because that's where I can see it. Dashboard. 49,800 subscribers. 200 more subscribers, and I'll break that 50,000 mark. I'm pretty excited about that, guys. It's been quite a while in coming, and I honestly was hoping that I'd actually hit 50,000 before the first of this year, but I'm certainly not complaining for where I'm at. I'm delighted that I'm about to hit that milestone, and I haven't figured out what I want to do in terms of celebration for it, but I'm certainly going to be doing a video after I hit 50,000 just to say thank you and how much, let everybody know how much I appreciate all of the support that you've given me over all of the years that I've been doing this, because it's really fantastic, and I appreciate the hell out of it. So yeah, 50,000, that's going to be really super cool. I can't wait till I hit 100,000. Not that I'm trying to be greedy, but I'm just super excited for the milestones and for seeing the channel growth and what's been happening to my channel, because it's really been doing quite well lately, which is, I mean, super exciting to me. I think it's exciting to you guys, but I'm super excited for me. Thank you, Tim. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, I just need to hit this arm up a little bit, and then the dodge and burn is good. Here I'm going to get a little bit more detailed because I want to kind of highlight her knuckles and this sort of mischievous kind of coming in here finger. There we go. All right, now up to the hair layer. I think your new videos showing beginners the basics in a really informative and understandable way are helping a lot. Yeah, those videos have been doing really well, and I'm glad that I started working on them. Oh, make sure your pegboard and circuit boards are both warm room temperature. Warm surfaces cure faster. That's a good idea, and that reminds me, I need to actually take the circuit boards, which are currently in my not heated garage, and put them in my heated studio so that they are warm for use. I had to move them out there because of the photo shoot that I had this past weekend and on Monday. But now the next shoot that I've got is the live shoot, so I should put those back. In fact, after the stream and before I go pick up my wife, I will put those back in the studio. And I should probably buy that pegboard pretty quick, like today or tomorrow, because I'm going to need... My plan is to build out the basic wall frame beforehand. So I'm not going to actually be building the wall during the live shoot, but I am going to be attaching all of the circuit boards to that wall during the live shoot. So when I say build the set, I'm not going to be building it from scratch. I'm going to have some of it done just because I don't want to be sawing and drilling real heavily on the stream. Not that that's a terrible thing, but it's noisy and it'll obscure what Otto is doing. And my goal for the stream, and I'd like to know what you guys think about this, and this is something else I have to test, so you guys might see me doing a test stream on my my personal garbage channel where I just do tests and things. I want to try to set up a secondary camera angle so when the stream is live, we'll have Otto in like the main screen as the sort of larger view, and him and Angela being painted, and then me in like a picture-in-picture smaller view, building the set and attaching the circuit boards and doing the stuff that I'm doing. So what do you guys think about that? I'm also thinking about adding a secondary angle in general to the live stream, which is a complement to the main angle, because the main angle in the studio is a wide angle lens just showing the main area of the studio, where the lights are, where Angela is, and what's happening when we're working in there. But I've noticed when I'm looking at it that you can't see me very well when I'm shooting. And it's not that watching me shoot is super exciting, but I think just being able to see me as well would add to it. So I'm going to try to add a secondary angle to the live streams in general, which is going to be a camera back somewhere towards the back of the studio, pointing forward at me, so that you can see me when I'm working, setting up the lights, you know, whatever I'm doing there. And I'd like to know what you guys think of those ideas as far as live stream improvements in terms of the layout and camera angles and things of that nature. Like, what are the things that you want to see in the live stream that you haven't been able to see because I haven't had a camera on it? That's the kind of thing that I'm trying to address with these camera angles that I'm trying to add. So let me know your thoughts on that. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna take off my hat because I'm kind of warm. Now that I think about it. All right. And I'm super, super excited for the live stream. I think it's gonna be really fun to do the live paint and shoot. It's gonna be a long stream. I don't expect you guys to hang out with me all day long. Although if you want to, and you do, that'll be awesome, and I'll appreciate the heck out of it. But it's probably gonna take Otto a good, 4 to 5 hours to paint Angela up. And then once we do the paint, of course, we'll do the shoot. And that'll probably take, an hour or so, hour and a half, maybe 2. I don't think it'll take 2. Angela and I seem to be pretty good at knocking out what we're after in about an hour and a half, which is also always pretty cool. I like that. I like how well we work together. I love working with Angela. She's such a wonderful person. But because of the nature of the shoot, I think we might go for more than one specific thing. Yeah. Looks good, looks good, looks good. All right, let's do the eyes. If you have a big box store for the components, check out the PL line of adhesives too. Might be some faster options for this. PL adhesives. I'll check those out. PL adhesives. All right. I like the multiple angles. What about sound on you on them both? Okay, Josh, that live stream starts. I don't have a specific time. Let me look at something here. I gotta look at my channel. I think I set it for like 11 a.m. as the starting time. Yeah, it's set for 11 a.m. on Saturday, January 21st. Let me grab the link for you guys. Copy link address. Here's the live shoot link. Body paint live shoot. There you go. So there's that link. It's going to start at 11 a.m. I could possibly use 2 YouTube channels, but the thing about it, Vincent, is I don't think I could have 2 different streams going to both of those channels because of the software that I use. If I was going to do that, I'd actually have to have another laptop running as the secondary stream, and I don't have another laptop that I can do that with that has the power to handle that stream. I would need a whole nother streaming computer for that, basically. Although that is not that's a good idea. I like that idea. I just don't have the capability of doing that at this time. So yeah, the sound would basically cover everything because we're all going to be in the studio. So I'll be mic'd up as normal. And then I'll have a mic set up over by Otto and Angela so you can hear them as we all talk. Basically, I'll take the ceiling mic that is currently above the shooting area and move it over to the paint area for the duration of the body paint. And then I'll just have to move it back over to the studio area when we're done with the paint and we're moving on to the photo shoot part. So I'll try to have sound covering everything. And then the multiple angles will all be playing essentially at the same time. So the sound will all be covered in every angle by the mic and the sound setup that I currently have going. It'll just be a matter of, positioning the ceiling, the boom mic, over the paint area, because I'll have my wireless mic on me, so I'll be mic'd up regardless. All right. On the brush tool right now, by the way, Todd, you'll notice that I use the brush tool quite a bit because what I'm doing is I'm using layers and layer masks to selectively apply certain effects. So what I'm actually doing here, and I was talking about this earlier when Peter mentioned doing eyes and how overdoing the eyes can look unnatural. But what I've got here are just curves layers, like I was mentioning earlier. And if you look at the curve, it's just, I grabbed the midtones and I just pulled it up just a teeny tiny bit for the brightening, and I do the exact same thing for the darkening, just pulling it down a teeny tiny bit, which you can see right there on that curve line. So that I don't want to apply globally, so then I have a layer mask applied, and then I just use the brush tool. So you can see the difference. Let me group this up here. And this is the eyes unsharpened, unbrightened, and contrast added, and this is the eye sharpened with the brightening and the darkening applied to the different areas of the eyes. And you can definitely see a difference, but it's not done to the point where the eyes look alien and weird and creepy and just wrong. So that's what I do with the eyes. Hey, Mr. Noodle, how's it going, bud? 5 p.m. Oh, that's a bummer, Josh. GE Silicone 2 is shower ready in 30 minutes. That should be enough for holding up the boards. I would think so. I'm going to write that down. GE Silicone 2. Shower ready in 30 minutes. That's good to know. And if I may, more is not always better. Enough to cover the depth of the solder on the back and no more. Yeah, Tim, that's something that I definitely wanted to be careful of. Like, I don't want to be like, with whatever my adhesive is. I want to use enough to hold it, but not so much that it's like just ridiculous. And I'm always open to the advice. So definitely don't be afraid to say, hey, this will work better than what you may or may not be planning. Watermark. Ooh. I want to make it just a teeny bit darker, this watermark, just because of that shadow in the blanket, or the sheets there. There we go. That's a little bit better. Woo! This is awesome. This section of the shoot is now officially fully edited. Do you eliminate flash glare in the eyes? Mr. Noodle, when you say eliminate flash glare in the eyes, are you talking about on glasses, or are you talking about in the actual eyes? Because in the eyes, you typically don't. In fact, in the eyes, you usually want a little bit of flash glare. That's a catch light, and that helps brighten up the eye and draw attention to the eye. But if you're dealing with glasses, then yeah, you generally want to try to eliminate glare on the glasses, which you can do by changing the angle of the light, the angle of the camera, or the angle of the glasses to reduce and or eliminate the glare. Polarizing filters can help a little bit, but really the way to really control that glare is through the angles. The angle of the light, the angle of the camera, and the angle of the glasses themselves. Alrighty, let's get back to Lightroom and mark this bad boy as done and export it. And that's this full particular set of photos. So this is the full Pillow Fight set of photos. And I'm super excited to have it done. I know Casey and her sister and cosplay partner here, Elizabeth, are going to be super excited to see the rest of these photos when I get them to them. And being that it is the time that it is, let's just go through and work on selecting the other stuff. But first, let me set up the rest of these photos. So I did the export, so now I'm going to move them over to share with them. So I got to pick Super Casey's folder and choose, and they're going to be automatically moved over there because of this automator program that I set up to manage my photos when I export them and make it easy for me to put them in Google Drive, which is how I distribute them to people. And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to export this one, and this one, because these are the ones that I edited today. Full resolution. And when they export, they also run a program to size them and add borders for social media, and then export model photos one more time to put them in. I just realized something here. I need to do the rest of these as well. How did I do that? All right, well, I know what I'm going to do here. Just to simplify things here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to do another export on these. And I need to put them all in one place. Just waiting for the export. There we go. Okay, export model photos. And see, this is the auto magic that I have done. And did I put them in? I did put them in Daisho Con. Alrighty, that's what I did. I put them all into Daisho Con. All right, so I'm going to put them there. Angela says, I tell my sister to lift the back of her glasses so they're just above where they usually sit on her ears, and it normally gets rid of most of the glare. Yes, that's exactly the trick that I use, Angela, and that trick is perfect. It saved my butt a number of times as well. So I definitely, that's the trick that I tell most people all the time. I don't think... You guys are awesome. All right, let's look at some selections here. So we got to get down to this. And like I said, this, I don't know that we ever really got the shot we were looking for here. So first we were trying this with them actually against the wall. And this actually isn't bad. Yeah, I kind of like it this way better. This, in fact, might be the best one. Even though it's against the wall. Then we tried it on the bed to try to kind of get... That one's not bad either. that one's a hoot. That I gotta save just because of the funny faces they're making. All right. Yeah. And this Angela is a fellow photographer joining us, which is awesome. Although Angela May is the model that I work with, and she also is learning and growing in her own photography. So, okay, so out of these, let's go back to just my selects, and I'm going to do a survey view on these and see. It's really just these two. I really do, I think, prefer the one on the left. What do you guys think of these two? I'm leaning towards the one on the left, to be perfectly honest. I think it captures more of what we're looking for, like to kind of show the passion in between the two of them. The pose looks a little bit more natural than it does on the bed. And I think the hair's not bad. It's not ideal, but the hair was just like the hardest thing to deal with. And I wonder if it had something to do with the fact that hair is a wig, and I wonder if it being a wig changed the way that it lays. It is not Shrek and Fiona. This is Raven and Beast Boy of Teen Titans. Yeah, left. Hey, Judy, how's it going? Yeah, I'm leaning on the left, too. I think that's the one I'm going to go with for this. For sure. All right, so that solves that. And I can unselect this one. Let's go back to the set in general. And I'm going to move down here. Now, these are going to be much easier. So, this here, I think. Yeah, we were playing with like this idea of taking a selfie. So here my depth of field was too shallow. I was at 2.8. And here again, I was still at 2.8. So I needed to get greater depth of field here. So here I jumped it up to f8. And I also went with a bit of a wider angle, which is going to simulate the cell phone feel better, which is what we were going for. We were trying to make it look like they were taking a selfie. So this one here is going to be the best because here you can see the thumb. So that's one. And then we moved over here and we did another one. And so that's a keeper. I really like that first shot. So that's the keeper there. Although I like that one too. I might do both of those. Ooh, no. I think that's the shot right there. Now I got to do... Like, I love the attitude in this shot. Okay. And then we have this one of the two of them, which is cute. Totally adorable. Okay. So those are my selects for the rest of this. Hey, Jay Lewis. How's it going? PC, you mentioned like taking some photos of call. Yeah, she's doing. Yeah, she's good. She's good. She's good. And no messy hair for us bald guys. Okay. It is 2:30. I am going to wrap this up. As usual, thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. I appreciate the heck out of it. I love that you guys like to keep me company while I edit. I will see you again, of course, next Wednesday on Photoblab. I'll have a new video out on Tuesday. If you have any questions ever, you guys know how to get a hold of me, Facebook, comments here on YouTube. My email address is out there. Again, thank you. Have a great weekend. Make sure if you can that you get out there and take some damn photos. Whatever you do, though, be safe, be happy. See you guys later.